Since when was not cropping your photos kind of this badge of honor in landscape photography? I think all photographers should be cropping their photos all the time, and I'll explain why. This is the Landscape Photography University channel, and in this channel we help you improve your landscape photography while also helping you have a better experience with your photography too. If you're into that, hit the subscribe button to the channel below. Now, when it comes to cropping your photos, I feel like it's gotten this really bad rap in photography, and I'm questioning why. Because so many people talk about getting the photo right in the camera, and I do believe in that, and I'll explain on this in just a second. But when you're getting it right in the camera, all you're doing is you're preparing yourself for post-processing that image and tweaking it slightly and getting it ready for that final export. Now, when you're getting a photo right in the camera, here's what you're trying to do. All you're trying to do is create a composition that makes sense. So when you're in a photography location and you're trying to create a photo that makes sense, what you're doing here is arranging the objects in your photo to be looked at in a specific order. So composition is where you want your viewer to look and when you want them to look there. Being introduced into the scene first and helping them explore everything that you're putting into the photo. That's what a great composition is. Now, when you're getting this right in the field, this may involve taking several photos of the same composition and just tweaking it slightly. What I like to teach, especially when I take people out into the field and show them one-on-one how to actually do this, I recommend taking at least 10 photos of the same composition to help you whittle it down and narrow down what your subject in the photo actually is. Increase anything that's attracting you to the subject and decrease anything that's distracting you from the subject. Now, your work here isn't done because you're still going to edit this photo later. So what I recommend doing is actually, when you're getting that last photo, just zoom out on the composition just a little bit if you're using a zoom lens, or back your tripod up just slightly if you're using a prime lens, and photograph something that's a little bit wider than you would normally want. Leave room on the edges of your photo. I'll explain why, but first, if you're interested in landscape photography and you've been frustrated in the past about overexposed photos or blurry photos or what gear to use, settings, all that stuff, I'd recommend you join Landscape Photography University Plus. It's $10 per month. You get access to every course we've ever made about landscape photography, plus one new course every month. You're also getting access to our exclusive student community and our iPhone app. So definitely check that out. It's linked in the video description and in the pinned comment. Now, when you're leaving a little bit of room on the sides of your frame and you're looking at what to do in editing, yeah, you want to tweak your exposure, your highlights, your shadows, your contrast, all that stuff. But what you want to be doing is still work on that composition. Now, you never know when you're in the field because you're looking through a tiny little viewfinder, or you're looking at like a 3-inch LCD screen on the back of your camera. When you're doing this, you can't see all the tiny intricate details. So when you take a photo that's a little bit wider than you would normally want to take with your composition, and you have the goal of cropping that down just slightly in post-processing, what you're doing is giving yourself the opportunity to tweak that composition one last time in post-processing. Whether or not you finish off on the exact same composition that you're getting in the field, it doesn't really matter. And doing it this way, you're not cropping out so much of the frame that you're losing a lot of the definition and pixel count in your photo. You're just losing tiny little bits along the edges. Now, doing it this way does involve one extra step in post-processing that you have to remember, but the benefits outweigh that extra work so much more, because more often than not, I've found that shooting slightly wider led me to creating a better composition with my photography than I would have gotten just taking a single photo in the field. No doubt this is the one missed opportunity in post-processing that a lot of photographers are missing out on. But if you want more videos on more ways that you can improve your photos, click or tap on this playlist showing up right now on your screen.